Hey everybody, welcome to Red Devils United. I'm John and thank you for joining me live for today's game, which was v Istanbul in the Champions League. Love to know what you're thinking in the chat. We'll bring up the chat window to see if anybody who's joining live thought it was a good performance, thought it could have been a better performance. Love to know what you think. I had to say I really enjoyed the first half. It was some unbelievable football, some really good talking points, but it was like we saw the two United teams that I've been talking about, the Jekyll and the Hyde. Right? We saw in the first half really quick passing, really quick movement, one touch, two touch, really intricate, creating chances, running at them, getting in behind, crosses coming in. It had everything that you wanted to see. And it obviously led to 3 goals, one disallowed goal for Rashford because he was offside, really tidy finish, but 3 goals, super strike by Bruno Fernandes. And then a terrible keeping error that Bruno Fernandes managed to tuck away, but there was a great move that led to that, which was really nice to see. And then another penalty for Man United, a definite penalty. Rashford gets his body in front of the defender and he just shoves him in the back with his shoulder. Clumsy, stupid, and again, as most, 100% a penalty. But really exciting and really great first half against a not so good Turkish team, but at least it's better than losing to them. So 3-0, and then that's the kind of United that played against PSG, that played against RB Leipzig, that played against Newcastle, that played against Everton. But then the United that played against Arsenal and Chelsea and even this lot in the last match shows up in the second half. The play is slower. There's far more unforced errors again. Players are giving the ball away again. Very sloppy. Fred gave the ball away an awful lot, especially in the second half. Making 3 substitutions at once is never going to help. They had to make the 4th substitution, then bringing on Matic to probably give them a little bit of balance. But again, it was slow, it was laboured. They gave the ball away an awful lot, as I said, but that led to the other team creating an awful lot of chances that put United under pressure. And, if it wasn't for a spectacular shot hitting the crossbar, United could have been 3-2 up, which would have made things very nervy towards the end. We're very lucky that they didn't get a second goal, because they definitely probably deserved the second goal with the amount of chances they were creating throughout the game and the second half. So, very annoying. Just going to bring up the chat window just to see if anybody is going to be joining us. We have Deco live joining us. Deco normally on the show when he can be, which is great. Great first half. Could have been a better second half. It could have been a better second half. But like I said, you make 3 changes, 4 in all for that second half, and it becomes disjointed. I don't understand though why players then all of a sudden start making mistakes with simple passes, giving the ball away. Really annoying. Daniel James comes on, who scored a lovely tidy goal towards the end, but before that he gave the ball away nearly every single time he get it. If he gets the ball and someone's up his hole, he shits himself, and the ball just bounces off him. He never controls it and distributes it. The ball just bounces off him. He's terrible. He's a terrible footballer that has to be sold. His goal was easy. It was well took, but it was an easy goal. But he was generally awful when he came on. The best part of his goal was the build-up. Great control by Cavani, lovely pass by Rashford for a great run. Not Rashford, lovely pass by Van Dijk to Greenwood for a great run, and then obviously Greenwood squares it. That's the best thing Greenwood did in the whole game, because he was very selfish with a lot of his decision making. So I'm actually glad he squared it in that instance, because there was other times he should have passed the ball and the greedy fecker shoots for no, he needs to learn the difference, and he needs to learn his decision making and be less selfish sometimes. Sometimes you've got to be more selfish when the chance to shoot is there, and it's better than maybe the other options around you. But he just constantly shoots, and when there are better options, he's got to take them. Dwayne says they took the foot off second half. Game is over. Defence though looked brittle for the whole 90 minutes. The defence was leaking chances. I don't know if that's because it had Fred in front of them, and Fred was maybe a little bit high up the pitch with Van der Beek, because it was the two of them playing basically side by side and Bruno in front. They may have been playing maybe a little bit too far away from the defence, leaving them a little bit more exposed than they should have been. But yeah, I agree, Dwayne. Anytime the Istanbul team took the game to United and got the ball into Djemba Ba, who is in his heyday 10 years ago was still not very good, was making himself look like Ronaldo against some of the United defenders for some reason. You know, they couldn't really do anything with him. And the team themselves were creating a lot of chances, which was very annoying. But United were, brilliant in that first half. And I'll take conceding chances when you're going 1-2, 3-0 up. Could have been 4-0. But in the second half, they continued to leak chance after chance. But they'd stopped going forward. Like Dwayne said, they took their foot off the pedal. The game was over. Maybe. It wasn't exactly over because, at 3-1, then they hit the crossbar. It could be 3-2. I know it's 4-1, and I think that scoreline's maybe a bit flattering. I mean, 3-0 at halftime is definitely the scoreline, what the scoreline should be. We were brilliant. But in the second half, 4-1 I think flatters us. I think 3-2 would have been a fairer reflection of that game. But ultimately, we should have won. We did win. And maybe we can take that into the weekend. We got a game away against Southampton. You think you see away and you're thinking, oh man, fuck, away against Southampton. But our away form has been fantastic. It's our home form that's been shocking. So, another win at home today, which is great. But hopefully we can continue the away form, get a win against Southampton. And fingers crossed we look at some teams dropping points again, such as Leicester did at the weekend, just gone. Man City dropped points again at the weekend, just gone. Arsenal dropped points at the weekend, just gone. So we need to see more teams that are above us dropping points, and we need to keep winning points. Hopefully get this game in hand we have against Burnley out of the way as soon as possible, so at least we can be level on games with other teams and then see really where the standing is. But hopefully now we can carry that win and that confidence, especially from the first half into the game at the weekend. Dwayne Deck, if you're there, anything else to say about the performance? Who was your man of the match? Love to know. For me, Donny van der Beek was brilliant in the first half. He was good in the second, but a lot better in the first. I thought he played brilliant. His passing was controlled. It was forward passing. He was creating a lot of link-up play, and his movement around the pitch, he must have covered a lot of ground. But I also thought Cavani, the work rate Cavani put in, his control and distribution was brilliant as well. And he was nearly involved in all the goals to some extent. So he had a great game. I'd probably give man of the match to either Van der Beek or Cavani. I know Bruno scores 2, and one of them is an absolute stunning goal. But yeah, I think Van der Beek for me gets man of the match. Dwayne Morgan, Hampton flying, Walcott going to run Harry ragged. That's the thing about it. Like, Harry Maguire has some really kind of poor moments within games, and sometimes he has great games. Very much mirroring Man United with like great performances followed by shit performances. So we had a good performance. Hopefully we can continue that against Southampton, and hopefully Harry gets his finger out and keeps Walcott quiet. Is Walcott playing centrally now for Southampton, or is he still kind of a wide player? Because if he's a wide player, I hope Tellez would probably be able to keep him quiet if he's out on that right side of the field. Dwayne says, tough to call man of the match, very average. I'd go with Cavani. Yeah, it's very close. I thought Van der Beek was great. Cavani was also really good. I'd have given it to Van der Beek just because of his overall general integration with the play and the way he linked up with all the players around him, passing and movement. You found him on the left side of the pitch, he was on the right side of the pitch, he was deep in midfield, he was kind of everywhere, but very rarely really lost possession. And I think he done well, even closing players down off the ball. But I think you're right, Dwayne. Cavani was great. And I agree with Deco. Van der Beek was great. Cavani was also good. Van der Beek gets my vote, but for Dwayne, couldn't argue with giving it to Cavani. I thought he was a really good player, and I really hope he gets a start, because I think Cavani up front with Martial and Rashford either side actually gives the forward line far more balance than when you have Martial up front and maybe Rashford or Greenwood or Rashford and Mata. I think that front three we've seen today should be the starting front three we have going forward this season, with Greenwood pushing for a place. But that's my starting front three. Dwayne Morgan says that Walcott centre with Ings injured. Excellent, because I think Danny Ings is a fantastic player who scores an awful lot of goals, gets under the radar a lot, and manages to cause defences a lot of problems. I'd rather he was injured. And I think whether it's Lindelof off injured, hard to tell, but Twinzavy's pace could keep Walcott quiet, to be honest, in that game. But it's a tough one to call. United's form is 50-50. Just flip it a coin. They could be amazing and blitz Southampton 2-3 4-0. Flip it a coin again and they could lose 1 or 2-0 with a really poor performance. I think the first 25-30 minutes of that match is going to really dictate the rest of the game. But we wait till Sunday 2 o'clock and we'll see. Dwayne Morgan, forgot Martial was even on the pitch today. He was walking after 3-0. That's it. He was brilliant in the first half. He was running. He was getting involved. He was running at the defence. He was causing them problems. He was giving the ball to Tellez. He was doing really, really well. He was. And then in the second half, he just took his foot off the gas. He basically personified everything that had gone wrong for United in that second half. He was walking. He was laboured. He was mispassing the ball sometimes. And yeah, I mean, honestly, he's one player who, like United, is very inconsistent. But in this game, he was inconsistent in two halves. First half, I thought he was great. And the second half, he went missing for large periods of it. There were a couple of moments where he did well and we found ourselves 4-on-2. But yeah, he was, for me, I want him to start against Southampton. I do want to see this front three against Southampton. But Martial has to do it for 90 minutes. And if he does it for 90 minutes, then he's going to have to take the next step and do it for 90 minutes in consecutive games. And fingers crossed he can actually start doing that. I think Cavani is a great example and role model for him. I mean, Martial had a long time to kind of watch Zlatan, who's a completely different player. He's as influential, but he does walk around the pitch a lot. He does kind of labour around and kind of, Drogba-esque sits on the defenders and causes them all kind of physical problems. Cavani does that, but Cavani runs an awful lot and he can be a different kind of role model for Martial. Hopefully Martial can learn to be less selfish from Cavani, can learn to run off the ball more from Cavani, and also then movement in relation to getting in positions. Hopefully Martial can learn a bit in the training ground and watching him in matches for that as well. But for now, that's my front three v Southampton. And when we have our pre-match video at 12 o'clock on Saturday regarding the Southampton game, what I want to see is that front three in my lineup. That's who I'm going to select. So, if you're watching this, please join us on Saturday, 12 o'clock, pre-match discussion. We'll have a post-game video again, just like now, after the game on Saturday. And after that, we'll just jump into a 7 o'clock Beers and Chats, where we'll talk about all the football. That's actually Sunday. The match is on Sunday. Beer and Chats will be Saturday at 7 o'clock, where we can talk all about the football that just happened. Liverpool are playing Burnley. There's some other games to watch. We can just talk about anything that's gone on in those matches and briefly touch on the United game for the following Sunday. But then on Sunday, we have pre-match talk and we have post-match reaction live. So, join us for all three segments. Because if you do and you like the video and you share the video with friends and we build a bigger community, it would be really, really good to see. Want to thank Dwayne and Deco for joining in, putting in the odd comment there. Deco's man of the match, I think he's given it to Van der Beek. Dwayne's given his man of the match to Cavani. I myself think Van der Beek just maybe edged out Cavani for man of the match, but I thought both were brilliant. I think Martial from the second half needs to be taken out back and shot. And we just replace him with Martial from the first half, who was actually really, really good. Thanks very much, guys, but I'm going to leave it there with today's video. It was a great game to watch, especially in the first half. It was really enjoyable. Hopefully we see a similar performance against Southampton. Please, in the comments below, if you're watching this after the fact, just tell us what you thought of the match. And again, like and share the video. Have a great night, everybody, and see you at the weekend.
Glory, Man United! Glory, Man United! Glory, Man
Man United as the Reds go marching on.
Welcome to Old Trafford, it's the
Better of our dreams, the power and the glory of the Shepherd End will sing. The Busby boys will take the pitch with marching at their feet as the Reds go marching on. Glory, glory, Man United! Glory, glory, Man United! Glory, glory, Man United! As the Reds go marching on.
This shirt belongs to you. Always has, always will.
Chevrolet, proud supporter of Manchester United.